Well, let's take a look at the Internet. The Internet was developed for about 30 years, completely by the public. All of the software, the hardware, the satellites, I mean, everything about it was completely within the public domain. The packeting systems, all the new designs. In fact, the only part that wasn't created by the public in the United States was created by the public in Europe. The basic ideas for the World Wide Web came out of CERN, the International Laboratory in Geneva, which is, again, an international government laboratory. That's virtually the whole story. After about 30 years of this, just right now, the last 2 or 3 years, it's handed over to private power. So, yeah, Bill Gates, who was typical parasite, kind of watching on the outside, absolutely no interest, now wants to take over the Internet and is heading to do it. And private power is not being secret about what they intend to do. What they want to do is take this system developed at public expense, initiative, ideas, technology, and so on, and use it for two purposes. One purpose is for what's called an intranet, that is to carve out big pieces of it, which are simply used for purposes of corporate transactions. So if General Electric wants to have, interactions between its office and, New York and Zurich or wherever they are, Penang and so on, they'll have this closed system with firewalls so you can't break into it, and that'll just be for them, and similarly for other big corporations, other major private tyrannies. So that'll be a large part of the public system, and the rest of it is supposed to be used as kind of like a home marketing service to try to turn people into passive consumers, you in the tube, that's the social unit on which society is constructed. So you don't have to worry about interacting, thinking people doing really bad things like those folks in the slums of Port-au-Prince a couple of years ago. But people will be passive and obedient and hooked on consuming for themselves, not caring about anyone else. And then you really won't have to worry much about the threat of democracy, at least that's the idea. Meanwhile, massive propaganda in the ideological institutions teaches you all sorts of mantras and so on and so forth. That's pretty much the way the story works, I think, at any point where you look at it in detail. So anyhow, my suggestion is take the slogans and look at them, take them apart, see what they actually mean when you look at them in practice. Where do they work? Where don't they work? How do they work? What are the results? I think you find a picture that's very, very different from the conventional one.